Ian Lurie.
Are the what?
Are the tips in writing?
Oh, they're in writing. I'll explain that bit in a second. I love to get questions from people. I am not a hugger. Okay? Peter is awesome. I am not a hugger. So I'm going to walk over here and hope that this works. It's not working. It makes a cool beeping sound, though.
There's a training process.
Yes, yes, I get that. Still not working. Let's try that. Oh, look at that. Okay, thank you. I'm the person who pushes on the door when it says pull. You know, like, I pulled on the wrong door. Anyway, some things about me. How many people have seen me speak before? Okay, so you know what you're about to get into. I sold my company last year in September. So it is now part of a company called ClearLink. I am not starting my own space program, nor am I buying an island. I did buy myself a really nice bicycle. I apologize, the slides seem to be stretching out a bit here. I'm not sure why. They look really good on the monitor if you want to come around and look there. I am a search guy. All right, I am.
You have to click it quick.
Yeah, no, I did click it quick, I promise. I'm a marketing guy. Okay, really? Okay. I promised myself I wasn't going to stand up here and make comments about the clicker, but apparently I am. I'm a copywriter, right? I'm a nerd, but I'm also a copywriter. I'm not an Amazon person. I'm just going to explain that now, all right? I'm a search person. I read patents. I read Amazon patents. I write a lot, but I'm not an Amazon professional. I do not run a store on Amazon. I don't do anything like that. I just want to put that out there now. If I say something stupid about Amazon selling, I apologize. Are there any people here from Amazon? Okay. Anybody here from Google? Okay, thank you. Anybody here from Target? Also good. Amazon, I apologize now. So where are we at right now in the world? There are many tactics. Peter was just talking about the flywheel. I'm the guy who throws sand into the flywheel, all right? And every grain of sand is a tactic. And you're going to see me go flying through all this stuff, and it's going to be terrifying. But I'm also going to talk about a reason you do it this way. So what's happened in search in the last 12 months? Last time I was here, there were some big, big shakeups. All right? There were no big shakeups this time, except this thing called the GDPR, which is something that's happening in Europe. It's a nightmare. All right? I'm not going to say, oh, everybody calm down, it's okay. It's a freaking nightmare. I went to law school. I have a law degree. I went into marketing, which is the only thing less respected than law. There's also mobile, right? Mobile's a big change. It's happening. Google's doing a lot with it. And if we're this penguin in the middle, we've got Google and Amazon both smacking at us, trying to get us to do stuff their way, right? That's kind of how it is. And that's fine. That's the way it should work, right? So both search engines are trying to get better at things they're not great at. Amazon's search engine is trying to get better at, and I may get contradicted here, unstructured data extraction, right? Amazon has all this great structured data. They don't have unstructured data, right? They're not good at extracting meaning from piles of words. I mean, they're better at it than me, but, and you can see that if you do some searches on Amazon. So like I went on and did a search for car paint. I want to paint my car. And don't worry for Google, your time's going to come in a second here. Didn't work so well. Car paint kit. Got a little closer. So the Amazon algorithm is relatively simple. It's words, sales, behavior, reviews, and price. There's other stuff in there, but that's basically how they're ranking their products and ranking what you sell. Google has a bigger problem. They work with unstructured data. They want to find ways to structure their data. They have just launched this thing called Google Express. If you are not trying it, You need to. Don't go all in, because Google has this nasty habit of saying, oh, here's this thing. Never mind. It was just in beta. 10 years later, oh no, it was in beta. Google Reader, I'm still bitter, very bitter about Google Reader. And if you go on Google and do a search on car paint, they don't necessarily do all that much better. I don't know what they're saying about my car, okay? I don't drive a Mercedes, first of all, and if I did, it wouldn't be a push car. I'm not on the Flintstones anymore. So they also completely missed. Car paint kit, they get a little closer, but all I want is paint for my car. That's all I want to do is paint my car, right? And they actually get closer with the model car for testers. Google's algorithm is insane. There are so many factors involved in Google's algorithm, I don't know where to begin. And you start to get a little anxious with all this. All right? I take massive piles of medications for anxiety like everybody else in the world, and it's not enough. My eyes bug out like this poor guy. It's okay, just relax, right? Best animal on earth, greatest animal on earth. I can tell you all about capybara another time. Half my presentations are stuffed with capybara. This one is not. You have to look at everything from some larger metaphor, all right? You have to put it all together in some larger metaphor. We use this thing at Portent called the marketing stack. And the marketing stack just shows how you do digital marketing. And these bottom things, this is your first tip, the bottom here, these are the three elements, content analytics and infrastructure. You can't do marketing without those three things, period. There is no marketing. Then there's paid, earned, and owned. Those are the channels. And what you do is you think about what each algorithm touches, what it approaches. So for Google, you're running your own website, so infrastructure is definitely a thing, right? So this is what you worry about for Google. For Amazon, you're not running your own infrastructure. Paid is important, but not too organic, except in a way I'm going to talk about in a minute. So for good SEO, this is tip number 2. I'm not going to count the whole way, okay? If you want to keep count, go for it. For good SEO, you want to work your way up. You start with the things that you know you can do, you balance them against the level of opportunity involved, and you work your way up the stack. That's what you have to do. So when I start burying you in tips, it's about to begin. Just think about this. So the first step is always infrastructure. This is mostly Google. For infrastructure, sorry, I should have rehearsed this better. Yeah, so this is working your way up the stack. I did make a great animation, I think. I just didn't, yeah. Anyway, sorry. So here's how we do it. This is the process we go through when we do SEO at Portent, all right? It varies depending on the client, the case, whether it's our site where we can experiment a little more, because I know if I get us buried in the rankings, I can fire myself, but that's it. And we start with infrastructure, step 1, right? We want to look at the very bottom of the stack, because changes we make here are going to propagate all the way up. Tip number 3, stuff at the bottom affects everything as you move up. You start with canonicalization and response. Canonicalization has nothing to do with the Catholic Church, all right? Canonicalization is a phenomenon by which computers always want to see one thing at one source, one thing at one resource. I just want to look at something very quickly. Oh, see, it looks better there. It's at the very bottom. Canonicalization is the deepest layer of the marketing stack. And it's the idea that you've got that one resource for every single, that one link, that one address for every resource, okay? So what you want to do is you want to make sure your resources that get indexed are indexed as close to the real valuable resources as possible. You don't want to have 2 or 3 addresses for one resource. I'm not going to talk about basics here today because we're just going to run out of time, but I do link to all the basics, and I'm happy to talk about them. Again, not a hugger, happy to talk. So response codes are part of canonicalization. These are the basic ways a server responds, right? You go into your browser, you type something in. If the page is there, the server says, no problem, here it is. If the page was moved permanently, if it's gone and it'll never be back, it says, whoops, sorry, go to this one instead. If that page is only gone for a little while, It's going to be back, says, okay, take a look at this now, but remember this other page. And if it's gone forever, the server says, ooh, sorry. It's all gone. And Google gets the same response, right? Because Google's basically a browser. You can use a tool called Ayima Redirect Path. They're a competitor, but it's a cool tool, so I give them a little points here. And if you go to a page on, say, Target, again, nobody here from Target? Okay, you're probably not going to admit it now because it's going to get ugly for you in a second. This is awful. This is a broken link on their site, and it's saying, oh, yeah, it's fine. This is supposed to be here. So if you do a search on Google for product not available on Target, there's at least 4,240 pages for product not available. Why? Because Google goes to these pages and Target.com says, oh yeah, no problem. Here's your page. There's nothing there, right? What should it return? A 404. That's like tip number 12. So Target, hire me, even though I've now shredded you and will only continue to. I go and I want a men's wool blend field jacket. I don't even know what that is. I have the fashion sense of a fungus, but I'm assuming it's something cool. If it's something Doctor Who wears, I probably want it. I click the link and I get here. Forget about SEO. Let's just start at the bottom of the stack. Is this a good user experience? No, it's pretty far from a good user experience. In fact, it's about as far as you could get. You don't want to do that. Anyone Sesame Street when you were a kid? I love these guys. Nope, 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 nope. Don't do that. Wired magazine. Anyone here from Wired? Probably not. Writing an article? Probably never going to write an article about me. They lost 2 million visitors. 2 million visitors in about a week. And they did that because they confused 301 and 302. They told Google when they moved to secure addresses, HTTPS instead of HTTP, they told Google, 302, we'll be back. And their traffic went. So in this article, they said things like, it's possible that we screwed things up. They also said, there's no way to assess whether this is what caused the problem or not. Yeah, there is. I'm sorry. Okay, read your first grade SEO textbook. Okay, I'm getting a little harsh here, sorry. Homepage linking. This is another way to screw up canonicalization. How many people here are on Shopify? Or on other sites, other stores? Okay. By default, they sometimes link to your homepage at /home or /index.html. Don't do that. Always link to your homepage the same way. Search engines are not that bright. All right? To Google, A9, Bing, whatever, these are 3 different pages, all with the same content. Links point to 3 different pages, so it splits your vote. It's like having Ross Perot and Ralph Nader and whoever the modern equivalent is, just siphoning votes away from you. Right? Query attributes. This is a big one if you run your own store. If you have the same product in many sizes and many colors, you get a different page for every single one. The content on those pages is just about the same. The only thing that's different is the size and the color. Find a way to do that without doing this. If you can't, use robots.txt or rel canonical. That was 4 or 5 tips right there. Again, record this, play it back in slow motion. Take a look at the slides. You can use a tag called rel canonical. Rel canonical is okay, but it's a Band-Aid at best, and it's a Google thing. Google giveth, Google taketh away. They've only been using rel canonical for about 12 years, so it's still in beta. So you never know what's going to happen. Getting more advanced, you can use XML sitemaps to diagnose crawl issues. If your eyes are... Last year, Jeff told me I should make people's eyes roll back in their heads. I didn't manage last year with talking about word vectors. I'm going to do it this year. So if this hasn't done it, you can look at this and Google it. It's not as crazy as it sounds. XML sitemap is a file you deliver to Google that says, here's all the pages on our site. And then Google Search Console gives you this cool thing that says, here's all the pages you sent us, here's the pages we couldn't index. You can take that and very quickly figure out where there's canonical issues. You can use a tool called Screaming Frog to do this diagnosis. all right, it will let you find duplicate content on your site. Duplicate content is usually a canonicalization issue. Site speed. This is a little further up the stack because there's things you control more easily. Google has now said site speed will be a ranking factor. It will be a ranking factor for mobile devices in July. July is my birthday. It's like a birthday present for me. I've been talking about how important site speed is for 15 years. Nobody ever believed me. Now you have to believe me. And if you don't, come hire me when you plunge out of the rankings, and you won't have to believe me. I'll just fix it. It'll be like magic. You want to get these two statistics as low as possible. The time in which the content loads on your page and the time in which the entire page loads. Content loaded is the first time that someone can see your page and interact with it. The full page load is when all the pictures and everything are there. If you want to see the basics, this is where you go. All right, this is about image compression and all that kind of good stuff. Tools you can use, Google PageSpeed, which only talks about how Google wants sites to be fast, so be careful. Webpagetest.org, which is hideously ugly, but a really good tool. The HAR, HTTP archive, not as hideous as it sounds. It's built right into any Chrome browser anywhere. And you can find it by just going to View, Developer, Developer Tools. Okay? And what it is a very simple list of all the stuff that's loading on your page and when it loads. One of the things you got to look for, time to first byte. We're at like 20 tips now, I think. Maybe 15, something like that. I think I got this. Time to first byte is that delay. So your browser sends a request, it says, hey, server, can I get this page? And then the server says, let me think about this. Sure, okay. That delay is unnecessary, and most servers do it. You can speed things up, and this is way down the stack, right? Because this is the hardware. You can speed things up by getting faster hard drives, getting more memory, getting a faster processor, getting dedicated hosting. If you use how many people here have a hosting provider, someone who actually hosts their website? So you can go to them and say, just give me a faster server. And you can ask them for specific things like, give me a solid state hard drive, right? Give me a server with more memory. Give me a separate database server. Those will all reduce time to first byte. Set up caching. That will reduce time to first byte. That was like 6 tips, right? I'm going way over. You guys should pay me extra or something, which is times 0, so sure. Code coverage. All right, we're moving further up the stack because these are things you can do no matter where your site lives. So there's these files that are added to your pages, right? Style sheets, JavaScript, style sheets and JavaScript. And you're not using everything in those files. If you use something called a framework like Bootstrap, which are these third-party sets of style sheets and things, if you use a theme in Shopify, anything like that, there's all this code that you're not using. And you can use this thing in the HAR, in Chrome, and it will tell you how much of that code you're using. Here, 62% of that code is not being used at all. This is on REI's site. Anyone here from REI? Okay, you guys are awesome. I love REI, but you're not here, so. If you take a look at this, you can see there's a lot of content, a lot of code that's not being used. You can go into the code coverage report, and it will tell you, here's the code that's not being used, and you can delete it. Okay? They're going to automate that soon. So Chrome soon is going to give you a report that just says, keep this code. You have to be a little careful, because some code is used on some pages and not on others, so don't just start deleting everything. But I took a file from 12 kilobytes, from 150 kilobytes to 12 kilobytes. That's a big change, and it's not just about the download. It's not just about file size. It's about your browser. The more code there is, the longer it takes your browser to parse that code and do something meaningful. This makes it faster. I'm starting to get the hang of this. My kids beat me at video games now, so I got to work on that. Blocking scripts. I'm not going to dive way down into the technology, the nerd details of this. If you want to talk about it later, feel free. Basically, one script on your page, if it's there, your page starts to load. It gets to that script. It says, nope, not loading anything else until this script loads. Slows things down. You can change that. You can take the essential stuff that you really need and put it right in the page, in the HTML of the page itself. You can do this on Shopify. You can do this on any hosted site. And then you put the rest of it, yeah, it's kind of a big page. There's 15,000 words of content on this page, so don't think my code is that hideous. And then you put the style sheets and the JavaScript and everything way down at the bottom. This is the HTML code of a page. You don't have to know. Don't try to read it. It's not, I blurred it. It's not readable. But that stuff is way at the bottom so that the whole page loads, and then it loads the rest of those scripts. So the page loads, looks the way it should, and then it just kind of keeps loading everything after that. Lazy loading. All right, you load the image as you scroll down. So if you take a look here, as I'm scrolling down, you're going to see these images load. What does that mean? That means that my page, my browser, doesn't have to load those images until I'm ready to read them. Page loads that much faster. Any site that's hosted anywhere, including Shopify, can do this. And you can do it in themes. There are plugins. There's all sorts of good stuff to do all the things I just described. Next level is to convert to HTTP 2. Shopify doesn't do this yet, but it's a different protocol. It's different from HTTP. It's a new way to deliver pages. We're using it on our site. It shaved about a full second off, which in internet terms is an eternity. And it just changes the way that resources are loaded so that it's much, much faster. Mobile, small detail, little teeny thing. Google has shifted to this mobile-first index. This is the next step up in infrastructure. Again, it's easier to handle this. You can get Shopify themes. You can change your site. Little things you can do, big things you can do. This is going to be the way you rank from this summer onward. All right? This is how Google will rank pages. It's in beta, I'll just say. So, and by the way, I'm not just marketing myself. I just can't take a lot of client sites and stuff and just throw them up there. And I can only twist the knife in big brands out there so much before I can never get another client. So you can run a test on Google, and the objective is to get that nice green page. You can just do a Google search for Google Mobile Friendly Test, and it gives you this nice little menu. Now, of course, Google does what Google wants because Google wants it. So all the stuff you're seeing here about mobile, this is so far what Google wants out of a mobile site. This may not be exactly what your users want, right? Because for Google, it's all about Google. There's a tool called Lighthouse. You can install this, and it does a much deeper assessment of your page for performance, for mobile readiness, for everything else. Mobile first. You want to build mobile first. This is not responsive. This is mobile first, meaning when I get to this page, and this is Etsy, when I get to this page, it looks like a usable page on my mobile device. It doesn't just get narrower. It doesn't just move stuff around. It's mobile first. This is a failure. Sorry, it is. I'm sorry. But it is because all this did is squish everything down and move it around so that now I can't find anything. It looks better. Some designer somewhere got paid, which is good. I like designers, but this is not mobile first. This is responsive. Okay? This is their categories. Remember how the other categories, nice clean list? This is how they're showing their categories. Nope. Doesn't work. Minimize interference. This is me going to a page on a site, right? And I'm trying to view the site using my mobile device. So here I am scrolling down. There's stuff there's ads, there's everything. Google specifically said we do not like this. And by the way, if I scroll all the way down, this pops up. So now I can't see the page at all. And by the way, that little button is teeny. So when you're trying to click on your screen, good luck. I have pretty skinny fingers, and I still can't do it. More nopes. I have to accelerate here. Next level is AMP, PWAs, and what a colleague of mine, Later Solis, is calling PWAMP, which I kind of like. Content, right? Now, this is Google and Amazon. This is where it starts to really matter. And everybody says, oh, content, blog posts. How much will you charge me to write a 750-word blog post? Because I heard that's what I need. Please don't ever come to me and ask me that. I want your business, and I want to do good work for you. Just don't ask that, or at least don't ask it in person, because then I can grind my teeth and scratch my desk on my own. This is content, all right? This is content. This is invaluable content. This is your first chance to connect with that customer. The first thing you have to do is find opportunities. This is the foundation, okay? Those opportunities. Where can a little bit of work do a lot? On the Portent site, we have a page that ranks number 8 for PPC. That seems like an opportunity, 18,000 searches a month. I'm using a tool called SEMRush to use that, to do that. I'm really not pushing it that long. So for the rest of the work I do, I'm going to keep this in mind. This is a big deal. On Amazon, find your standouts. High margin, high conversion rate, good volume. Where can a little bit of work do a lot? Next level, user observation. Sit someone down at a computer, put a camera on them, and say, okay, you're on Amazon, go buy some pencils. Watch what they do. What about their behavior can you exploit? That sounds terrible, that's not what I mean. What about their behavior can you cater to? Right, we do this with Google and Amazon all the time. We just sit customers down and ask them. Actually, I do it. I shouldn't speak for my team. If they're not doing it, I'll be ticked, but who knows? Finding your topics and words, right? This is one step further down. You've found your easy opportunities by looking at how people are acting right now. Now you're going to look for things that they're not showing you. The objective is to not end up shouting in an empty stadium. People are sitting here right now. I feel better than if there were no one here. Basics on keyword research, Moz has a great free guide on this. Just go take a look. You can do this on Amazon. I don't know if I'm violating some Amazon rule here, but you create a new Amazon consumer account, just customer account, so it doesn't have any behavior about you stored up, and then you start to do searches, right? And it will show you search suggest stuff, but without going in and trying to adjust it based on your behavior because it has no behavioral data. Merchant words, Seller Labs keyword tool, those will do this kind of stuff too. By the way, the Rocinante is a ship on this show called The Expanse, which Sci-Fi just canceled. So this is my chance to dig at Sci-Fi. What the hell are you guys thinking? This is a really good show, but anyway. Google Search Suggest, just open up in private browsing. Ideally, empty your cache, delete all your cookies, and open up in private browsing. And start to type something in and see what shows up. Those are the things people are looking for. If you want to really have a good time, look at rival groups, okay? So there's millennials, there's baby boomers, sociopaths, and there's Gen X. Okay, so you can tell who's writing this, right? Because the only bad thing you say about millennials are entitled snowflakes, baby boomers are hippie sociopaths. We're just lazy. Yeah, okay, I'll admit it. Find the questions. I will never stop harping on this. Find every question and answer it, all right? This is toothpaste, right? Who cares? Well, people are asking questions. I did not know that screw caps versus flip tops were such a big deal, but I will tell you that I unscrew the stupid flip top every time I get my toothpaste in the morning, so I guess I do care. This is a question that's being asked. You should answer that in your bullets. Just have it say, this has a screw top. How many more units of toothpaste would you sell if you answered that question in your bullets? Don't know. Then there's word vectoring. Now we're getting more advanced, right? And I talked about this last time. This is the idea of teaching computers to do math with words, where king plus woman equals queen. King minus queen equals princess. Queen minus king equals prince. It's just building relationships between words. Again, I can go into this ad nauseum. The main thing you need to understand is to use this tool and to look for questions. So SEMRush has created this cool tool, and I'm not affiliated with SEMRush. I do have some friends there, but really, their tool's pretty awesome. So you go into the content audit, and it will tell you related topics. This is word vectoring to some extent. All right, this is a loose kind of word vectoring. And you can do an SEO content report, which shows you semantically related words. Okay, when I saw that, the heavens opened up for me. All right, because all the crazy math that we used to have to do with TF-IDF formulas and latent Dirichlet analysis and all the other things, gone. We can just use their tool now. If you talk about each of those things, you're set. You can talk about them in the same content, in multiple pieces of content, whatever you want. Like, should you put essential oils on your teeth? I don't think so. But it is there. Then, when you want to get to the next level, do entity analysis. I'm sorry if I'm spitting on people. I think I actually just did, but I'm just getting kind of excited about this. So, like I said, fashion, social skills, fungus, gone. And now you don't want to hug me, so we're good. Analyzing entities, okay? Entities are people, places, things, and things that have risen to the level of proper nouns. All right, and I'm going to talk about why this is important in a second, but there are tools to do this, and I can talk you through that. How do you tell them now? How do you tell them what to do? Well, this is the next step up, right? Because it's easy to create stuff and answer those questions once you've found them, so we're one step up higher in the stack. I'm doing this now. That's terrible. I'm violating every rule of speaking, including breaking the fourth wall. So basics on keyword research, basics on writing good content, where to put stuff, title tags, meta tags, alt attributes. I'm not going to talk about it here. I don't have time. But there's lots of good documentation around about it. This, by the way, is a link to where this slide deck is and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you can look there for links and advice and tips and things like that. Answer those questions. I already told you why I answered them on Amazon. On Google, Google is increasingly using these things called search features, where they are trying to keep people on Google by showing the content to them on Google. If you answer the question right, you will get what we call position 0. You can rank number 5 and still get this position. Answer the questions. And make it clear you're answering a question. And then write to these related words, right? Write about how some toothpastes are cruelty-free. Write about salt toothpaste. It sounds horrible, but you know, it's better than essential oils, I guess. Or brushing your teeth with a privacy policy. That sounds terrible. You don't have to repeat phrases anymore. I had to include a puppy picture. Everybody does. I had to do it. This is my dog. I have a dog, 2 cats, a guinea pig, had a hamster, it croaked. I like animals. So it used to be you just had to repeat the same word again and again and again, right? That was how you told Google that you should rank for something, and I think Amazon. Now, both, but certainly Google, are using word vector analysis, which means they know dog and breed and pup and cats and mutt and pooch. Those all relate to each other. So you can write actual content. You don't have to write garbage. You can use Schema to find those entities that I was talking about, entity types. So for example, there's an entity called a review. You can go to schema.org. This is all there. There's an entity called a product. And if you use that, how am I doing on time? There's no one. OK, cool. Thank you. This is schema markup on a page. And the only reason you need to know that is because when you put it into Google's structured data testing tool, it shows you all the data. And it will test it and tell you if it works. Then you start to get little search features like this, $20 in stock. Why is that showing up? Because they have markup saying $20 in stock. Google's not scraping that. That is structured data. Shopify, you can do it. There are plugins. There's all sorts of cool stuff to do that. Backend keywords on Amazon, use that to list truly related terms. Okay, so you remember how we pulled all those related terms? Use it to list those. Don't go crazy. Don't show sea salt for toothpaste. But there may be terms that are just barely related, like, I don't know, gum health. things like that. Answer questions in bullets, put your keywords in your description in your title, and use images to answer questions too. If there's a question like, does this toothpaste have a screw cap, show a picture of the top of the toothpaste tube. You don't have to say in text, it has a screw cap, but you could just show that. Right? They showed it in a box, which is fine. It shows you how the product will look when you get it. But last bit, paid, earned, and owned. These are your channels. You want to structure around topics. This is the furthest down in those channels. It's the hardest to do because you're messing with navigation. So let's say you have one topic you want to rank for, like materials or glue guns. Right? For glue guns, a related term is materials. Another one is a blog by Crafty McCrafts-a-lot. Right? Another one is working with glass or working with fabric with a glue gun. Build a hub. Write that stuff, create it, and link them together. Build hubs around related words. Glue guns, safety. I had a pair of jeans that I forgot to wear today that has a big old thing of hot glue on it, and then there's a matching scar on my leg. It was great. By the way, if the hot glue gets on your leg, don't start doing this on your jeans and pushing it through the fabric, because then you glue the, anyway. Not that I did that, it's fine. But, and then you have something about treating burns, right? That's all related content. So you link it together. Wedding dresses, same kind of thing. You can link in your content. You don't have to do this by creating navigational changes, right? Just have relevant links in the content. Or link in the navigation and suddenly you're ranking top 10 for the word jeans. If you have periodic content that you do once a year, always keep it at the same address. The current year should be at top 10 helmets with no date. Then as you archive each year, you put it under 26. This is like tip 50, by the way. I'm way over. But top 10, 2017, top 10, 2016. Resonate, there should be a Resonate, and then a Resonate 2017, a Resonate 2016. Hopefully my team told the folks at Seller Labs that. Again, if not, I'm kind of unhappy. And then fix broken incoming links. This is the first step in link building. Don't worry about going out and getting links. Fix what you got, right? Go on to Google in Search Console and find all your crawl errors and then find broken external links. If there's a page missing, put the page back. That's the first solution. And then use what kind of redirect? Permanent or temporary? Permanent. 301. You want to use a permanent redirect. Do log file analysis if you really want to nerd out, right? You can actually get your log file. And not if you use Shopify, but if you have your own site. People's eyes are rolling way back, so I'm going to hurry up a little bit here. Paid media is at the very top. You have a ton of control over this. Use paid media to test titles. What's the best title tag on a page? What's the best meta description tag on a page? This is a fail. I did a search for flat-proof bike tires. I should not be seeing tire levers unless somebody did the research and found that this works. Right? PPC on Google, AdWords, and on Bing. I can test and find the best meta description. If you use a good meta description on your page, that's what shows up in the search, in the organic search snippet, you'll get higher click-through. You don't even have to move up in the rankings, and you'll get more clicks. You can use that to boost keyword conversion rates, which is important on Amazon. So for example, here I did a search for bonsai pots. Bert, my bonsai, needs a new pot. This shows me a bonsai in a pot. I don't want a bonsai in a pot. I want a pot. This is going to get lousy conversion. That's the next step, right? So that's a note. Don't do that. Email lists, RLSAs, emails for retargeting. Again, I can talk about that, but that's mostly paid media, so I'm not going to worry about it here. And then if you want to turn nerd to 11, you can start looking at things like reverse proxies. So if you're on Shopify and you have a blog somewhere else, and right now it's blog.mysite.com, that, and there's a guy named Michael Martinez who will punch me for saying this, that hurts SEO. You want it to be on the same domain within a subfolder, okay? So use a reverse proxy to put it all together and make it part of mysite.com/blog. I'm not even going to try to explain that one. I can explain it later, and you know what? If you survive the experience, I will hug you, okay? Because it's brutal. Okay, deep breaths. That was a lot of stuff, right? I just vomited information all over you. It's okay. Just relax, because the main point here is, yeah, there's millions of tactics. I barely scraped the very top layer. And by the way, I don't remember all this stuff, ever. I'm gonna be 50. I walk across a room, I can't even remember what I was doing, why I was walking across the room. I don't remember all these tactics. We have a huge list somewhere, and we apply a strategy to it. The strategy is begin at the bottom with infrastructure and just move up, find the things where doing the least will do the most, and just keep working your way up. If you can't do it, don't vapor lock there, just keep going. Ruining my big finish. Work your way up. Keep the stack in mind. Always use the marketing stack. Trademark Ian Lurie, 2005. No, it's not really. That's it. Thank you.